Okay, welcome tonight, and we call to order the regular meeting of the West Valley City Council this November 12th, 2024. We are beginning our meeting at 6:35 in the council chambers of West Valley City Hall. All members of the council are present. We have Councilman Fitzsimmons, Councilman Whetstone, Councilman Harmon, Councilman Hune, myself, Councilman Christensen, Councilman Norfeld. We're also joined at the dais with our city manager, Mr. Peely, and our city recorder, Ms. Kamick. I'll now turn the time to Councilman Norfeld for our opening ceremony.
Thank you, Mayor. I invite everyone to join with us in standing and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I Thank you.
Thank you. We now have our minutes of October 22nd, 2024. Turn those to the council for discussion or a motion.
Mayor, I'd move to approve those minutes. Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those stand approved. Sorry, I threw myself off. I recognize that we have some special guests in the audience. Are we part of a scout troop?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Okay, would one of the young men or yourself like to come up and introduce your scout troop and tell us what merit badge you're working on? Yes, please.
Scott McAllister, Assistant Scoutmaster with Troop 1996 out of Taylorsville, Utah. We have scouts here working on the communications and citizenship in the community merit badges.
Thank you. All right. We'll now go to our awards and proclamations, and I'll turn the time over to Councilman Harmon to introduce our proclamation with the World Suicide Prevention Day.
Thank you, Mayor. A proclamation declaring November 23rd as World Suicide Prevention Day in West Valley City. Whereas suicide is the 11th leading cause of death in the United States, the first leading cause of death among children and teens ages 10 through 24, and the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 25 to 34. In the United States, more than 49,000 people died by suicide in 2022, an increase of 2.6% since 2021. It is estimated that in 2022, there were 1.6 million suicide attempts, and in 2022, suicide was the 9th leading cause of death in Utah, with 717 deaths by suicide, a 12% increase from 2021. Suicide is preventable when bystanders recognize the warning signs of suicide and know where to get help. We support Utah's Live On campaign, a statewide effort to prevent suicide by promoting education, providing resources, and changing our culture around suicide and mental health. And organizations such as the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention are also dedicated to saving lives and bringing hope to those affected by suicide through research, education, advocacy, and resources for those who have lost someone to suicide or who struggle. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is sponsoring, in partnership with West Valley City and Healthy West Valley, an opportunity for residents and those in surrounding areas to promote healing and connection regarding the difficulties of suicide loss in an event on November 23rd, 2024, entitled Survivors of Suicide Loss Day. And the Mayor and City Council of West Valley City do hereby determine that it is essential that it is essential for all citizens of West Valley City to be aware of the importance of mental health education and resources for the well-being of themselves and those around them in the city. Now, therefore, the mayor and city council of West Valley City do hereby proclaim November 23rd, 2024 as World Suicide Prevention Day in West Valley City.
Thank you. Would now like to invite Katrina Strubel. She is the Executive Director for the Utah chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention to come to the podium and say a few words. And then we'd invite you to come up and shake everyone's hand and we'll have a picture after.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having us here and for proclaiming this day as World Suicide Prevention Day. You heard the statistics. They're large, and we're here to break the stigma when talking about mental health. Suicide can be prevented. We do prevention, postvention, education, and training. Our programs are all free. We're excited to be out in the community and save lives and bring those hope that have been affected by suicide. So thank you so much. As you mentioned, we are doing the Suicide Survivors Loss Day, the Saturday before Thanksgiving. Again, very excited to bring our programs to those who need them. It brings our lost survivors together to connect, to bring hope, to hold a place for those loved ones that they've lost. And just again, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
That's perfect. 1, 2.
Thank you. Trina, can I give you this proclamation? Totally spaced it, sorry. All right, we will now accept public comment. Public comment period is limited to 30 minutes. Any person wishing to comment shall limit their comments to 3 minutes. Upon recognition by the mayor, you will approach the microphone. If you did not have a chance to sign up your name and address, please give it to us at that time. Otherwise, just your name. All comments shall be directed to the mayor. No person addressing the city council during the comment period shall be allowed to comment more than once. Comments shall be limited to city business and matters within the purview of the city council. Speakers shall not expect any debate with the mayor, city council, city staff. The mayor, council, and staff may respond after the comment period is concluded. And speakers shall refrain from personal attacks against fellow residents, city staff, and members of the council. So speaker 1.
My name is Aaron Hoyne. I just wanted to propose an idea to create more affordable housing in West Valley City. I had spent my university in Christchurch, New Zealand, and they had a housing crisis. How they had fixed this is they reopened the zoning, allowing people to put multiple dwellings on their property and create flats with inside the dwellings. So I lived in a flat where I had my own bathroom and my own bedroom, but a shared kitchen and laundry room and living space. Excuse me, sorry, I'm thirsty. I think that if this were to go through and I would actually invest in something like this, I could create rents that would be around $600 to $800 a month, which is significantly cheaper than the industrial apartment complexes that we love to see pop up. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them, or you can call me or whatever, and I'll answer them in the future.
Okay,
Thanks for your time.
thank you. Speaker 2.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alan Osmanovich. I would like to propose some additional amenities at West Valley Park. There are 50 new residences that have gone up just this year in that area. And so I think that it's next to a dog shelter, maybe having like a dog park or some sort of improvements to that park would really, make the area a little bit better, obviously. And I think my estimate is that we've got about $150,000 of property taxes from just those 50 residences. And then even across from the Simply Storage, there's 30 more coming up. So I thought this would be a good time to perhaps bring up some possible improvements to that park.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Speaker 3.
I would just like to, my name is Stephen Fulmer. I would just like to address this unfinished business, the rezoning that you're proposing there on 5600 or on 6000 West and 37 something south. I just feel like that's going to be, the housing is going to be too dense there. It's going to create traffic problems. We already have problems with schools and the traffic that's from there. And I just feel like that putting that many units into, I understand that you're proposing 40 residential units in that 6 acre area. And I just feel like that's going to cause additional traffic problems along 6000 West. So I'd just like to speak in opposition to that density of housing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Speaker 4.
Hi, I'm Mike Dye at 5101 West Sandwell Drive in Highbury Place. There was recently a proposal GPZ 6 2024 by Arete Collective that went before the Planning Commission. That proposal of this year seeks to rezone a 26-acre plot of land from R18 to MXD or commercial mixed use. That plot is interior to the Highbury Place community where I live, and currently that area comprises 196 single-family homes. I represent the community here today by asking you to decline that proposal when it comes to you. Last month, the Planning Commission voted unanimously against this proposal. In advance of the vote, my neighbors and I delivered 60 signed letters and numerous email messages explaining our opposition. Those are on file with Steve, the superhero. I think 10 of us spoke at the Planning Commission here last month, and there were many more in attendance to support our opposition. Last year, the exact same commission, almost the same membership, voted 5-1 against a related proposal. That was GPZ 5 2023. The neighborhood produced similar content at that time too. If the Arete Collective on behalf of Wasatch Acquisitions and Capital were to succeed with their rezoning, they would build, in their proposal, they say they would build 435 new high-density residential units, 6 apartment buildings, 2 that are 6 stories and 1 that is 4, 21 3-story townhome buildings, and a 6-story short-term rental breaker building for the surf training pool that accommodates about 4 people at a time. There are pickleball courts also in their plan. We're concerned as residents, and we've heard from the surrounding community as well that they have similar concerns about increase in neighborhood crime, decrease in safety for neighborhood children due to the increased neighborhood traffic and anonymous people in rental properties, especially short-term rentals that kind of resort environment encourages, a general increase in road traffic and parking problems, of which we already have many without the increase of about 1,000 new parking spots that they're proposing. A decrease in neighborhood privacy from the 6-story buildings down into single-family homes' backyards, an increase in area noise from pickleball courts and the surf training pool, as well as the apartments, diminished enjoyment of our neighborhood green spaces and personal properties, which we pay to maintain, and the decrease in property values in our established community from an increase in those short-term rental properties. The neighborhood is eager to see the plot of land developed consistently with the R1 designation that it currently has. When I moved in to the neighborhood, I was excited to see that there would be more homes between my home and the the school that's there now. We would like continued development and new neighbors, but consistent with the current zoning. Thanks.
Thank you. Speaker 5.
I should have been more observant with my number back there, but I appreciate the opportunity to address the city council in regards to the 3876 South, 6000 West property that
Could you just give us your name real quick?
Rick Turner, I'm sorry,
Thank you. Oh, good.
Rick Turner. And I've lived across from the property for 48 years. And during that time, I've watched things grow from where there used to be a dairy at Hunter High School, where that is right now on Cooperville. They had the Cooperville Dairy. My concern is the impact of all of the cars, the vehicles, and the size of the single units that are being proposed. I also don't think there should be rentals in there. That's my personal opinion, how I feel. In regards to the traffic, right now we have the junior high that's right next to that property. And it is on a street just below where the property we're talking about. And anytime you get bad weather, the people are bringing their children and that they're trying to turn into the street on the junior high. Others are trying to get out right there and it backs up a half a block to where I live on Selma Drive, on the corner of Selma Drive. And now with the new private school down on the end of Selma Drive, we've got the Stake Center, which is to the south of that property. I'm concerned that if housing, depending on, how that shakes out, if they'll be using the property for the church to park the overflow cars. I just think that it needs to be downsized some rather than 38 or than the 47. I think it's down to 39 now. And so I'm want to state that I'm against the way it's set up right now and think they should be smaller units because you've got 6.6 acres and they want to put 39 units in there. And so that doesn't allow much room in between them. One of the things I read said it'd be 5 feet between them. The sidewalk's 4 feet. So that would be 6 inches on both sides of the sidewalk and you'd have other units there. So anyway, I appreciate the time of the city council and listening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, speaker 6.
Mike Markham, 3008 West Alice Way. In light of the comment I made about 6 weeks ago and some people taking offense to that, I think now with the elections that were held last week and who was elected by most people in Utah, I'm in pretty good company. I'm not alone out there as I'm not going to use the word again, but certain people know what word that was. So, but now I'm thinking I'm in pretty good company. So we'll let go at that.
Thank you. Speaker 7.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jim Visock. I was going to talk about the Veterans Memorial today already, and in the study meeting, there was a presentation about it. This is a place that the city has put in over $800,000 already, and it's not being used. We've had 2 programs there since it's been built. We've had several Veterans and Memorial Days since then. And now we need to spend more money to expand it to make it bigger. Some of the issues that were brought up was the homeless in the area, and there is a lot of it, and that's just going to give them more of an area to go to. Now, if you look at one of our northern cities, Bountiful, at their veteran memorial, you go up there and look at it, 100% done with private money, not a penny of taxpayers, and it's beautiful. So, I think we need to raise more money on the outside and keep the city from pumping in more money. Last night, the Veterans Program, it was a great program. Attendance was a little lower in past years, but there were so many things going on and freebies and stuff out there. The only negative thing about it was, I'm going to call them what everybody was calling them, the sippy cups that were handed out. In past years, they've done a coin, and in the military, police department, I believe the fire department, they're used to handing out coins as a thank you and appreciation. I suggest we go back to the coins. It's nicer than the sippy cups. And then I remember the last time I worked a full-time job. Now, once again, this is the 80s and 90s. I've been retired for a little bit. My PTO time, the way they encouraged you to take it is they paid it at minimum wage. And so at that time, it was like $3 and something, and you're making $25 an hour. You don't want to take $3 and something. You want to take your time off. So that might be another suggestion of a way of, if you're going to pay PTO, is pay it at the lowest rate you can, which is minimum wage. So this is a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Was there anyone else that wished to speak that didn't have an opportunity to sign up? Just come up and give us your name and address, please.
I'm Faye Fulmer. We're at 4019, 55 West. We're just on the corner of where this property is going to be developed. My concern is that they put in Mount View corridor. We feel like we're boxed in. The only way we can get out of our property is to go up 6,000, turn on 41st, hit 2 lights to get across Mountain View to get to 56 that way. Or if we cut through where they made the cut through where the charter school is, they're going to have a university hospital there. That's going to cause more congestion on that corner. So, or when school's going on, you cannot hardly get through that place. And then they have the junior high just across from Rick Turner's place down the street. And so you have the junior high getting out. Down the street is the Whittier Elementary School, which has children walking up and down that street, you know, when school's out. There's just a lot of children on the street, which is, my concern is adding more traffic. Oh, there's one more school up across 4100, where there's another elementary school where people are coming by and picking up their children. So it's just crazy. Even if you had a high school student, you could hardly get your kid to school, to high school, or come back from school. And my concern is adding that many more houses. And if every household has 2 cars, that's another 80 cars, 40, if you had 40 homes, 80 cars. And if they had kids, there's more cars. So you're increasing the traffic dramatically. We've already got a real congested situation already. And there's just certain times you just don't go out and try to go anywhere. 6,000 used to be a little quiet, little residential street with a stream going down it. And it was had trees that grew over. It was very, very calm when we moved in several years ago. But my concern is the safety of the children and just the basic congestion that it's going to increase by doing this. And I think it's a legitimate concern. And it's not just my concern, it's our neighborhood also. I'm speaking for our neighborhood. So I'm kind of opposed to the whole idea of so many such dense living.
Thank you. Anyone else want the opportunity to speak? Okay. Name and address, please. Name and
I was
address.
going to wait for public, but I'll just finish. I'm sure y'all received my email as far as that property.
Can you give me your
and-
name and address, please?
Beth Boyer, 6045 West Wending Lane. I live right next door to the junior high. And there are certain times of the day you can't even go up and down those streets. So by adding that many more houses, when you figure you've only got about, I think it's 13 or 15 homes up there right now, you're more than doubling it with homes in there. And so the congestion is going to be unbelievable with the two schools and the times of the day that you're going out of there by adding more traffic into that area. So hopefully you took consideration of my letter that I wrote and maybe some consideration into how many homes that are going into that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jake Hone, 1265 East Fort Union Boulevard. I'm the applicant, Grow Development. We are presenting this unfinished business to be discussed tonight. Thank you for the residents for coming out and sharing your concerns. Obviously, when you do add units and homes to an area, it does increase traffic. Our proposal that is a great solution for the area that's a really tired, worn down property that does not have the proper road frontage along it. When we improve 6000 West, we'll be adding a lane as well as a shoulder and the curb and gutter and the sidewalk to promote better walkability and safety for those that are traveling to school that could now walk to school on that side of the road. We're asking for the request to support this project. We feel it's a great solution to help improve the property. It will add to some better housing stock in West Valley City. We followed the direction from planning staff on the vision of this property, as well as the coordination with the landowner to help make it the best possible solution for what they have currently to improve it to a better opportunity. We really appreciate the staff and all they've done to help us and understand what the wants and the needs of the city are. We've also amended our development agreement and application based on the feedback given from council and the mayor. We hope that you look at this in a positive way and a great opportunity to really improve and redevelop the area. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment and I'll turn it to the council for any remarks.
Mayor, I'd just like to take a minute in open time here to congratulate Representative-elect Fitzsimonu and welcome him as my representative on the state legislature. We'll be sorry to lose you to the council in January, but you can only serve in one elected position at a time. So, and anybody who wants to serve in more is crazy. But congratulations and welcome to the legislature.
Okay, any other comments? Okay. All right. We will now move to our public hearing for application, let's see, ZT 11-2024. And this is to amend section 76301 to allow tattoo establishments as a permitted use in, this one's BRP, MXD, CC, C1, C2, C3, and L1 zones, and will remove prohibition on tattoo establishments in all overlay zones. So we will now open the public hearing on this matter. If there's anyone that would like to speak, please come to the podium. Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing and I will turn this item to the council for discussion or a motion.
I move to approve ordinance 24-44.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Fitzsimonu,
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt.
Yes.
And Mayor Ling.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Okay, we'll now go to our unfinished business. On October 22nd, the council reviewed this application for, well, there's 3 different action items, but it's on application GPZ 5, 2024. This application had a public hearing at that time and decided to continue the item till today's meeting to allow staff to work with the applicant on some potential changes. As a reminder, this application would change the general plan from large lot residential to small lot residential and change the zone from agriculture to R18. The application is proposed to demolish existing homes and duplexes and build a planned unit development consisting of originally 41 units. Mr. Pastrick explained in study session that the total number of lots has been reduced to 39. 4 lots along 6,000 West have been removed, and 2 of them have been replaced by reducing the amount of open space from the close to 1 acre to 32 square feet. Since we have already opened and closed the public hearing, we will now turn the discussion to the council for discussion or a motion. And I don't know if you want Mr. Pastrick to come up and present any of the other changes or answer any of the questions that were brought up in the comment period.
I'd be okay with that,
Yeah.
specifically around the comment about 5-foot,
Side yards.
yeah, some of that stuff.
So if I understand the questions about side yard setbacks.
Just a
Yes.
consideration, yeah, or a clarification on that.
Yeah, so most of the lots, so that for the development agreement, 75% of lots will have a 10-foot side yard setback on the garage side and then 5 feet on the opposite side, so 5 and 10. And then 25% of the lots could have 5 and 5. So the closest homes would be to each other would be 10 feet. So they'd have at least 5 feet from the property line.
And then would you explain why it went from the 14 lots on 6,000 down?
Sure. So originally there was actually 16 lots proposed on 6,000 West, and the council wanted to try to basically increase the frontage of those lots. And so the applicant decided to drop 2 lots from the project just overall, and then move 2 of the lots to within the project. So that's how you went from 16 originally to 12 now in the latest proposal.
And that took them from 50 feet to,
So those lots are in the range of, and I can pull up a drawing here. So again, it would be a range depending on the final layout. But you have lots that are in the kind of 60 to 70 foot range. Again, it varies depending on the lot.
okay, thank you.
I just have one question just for the record. You mentioned earlier is that 39 lots for right now, is that right?
The current proposal is 39 lots total.
And we have like 30% for rental.
So the development agreement has a provision that states that the homeowners association would limit the number of rentals to no more than 30%. We've done that on a few other projects, and I just point out it's actually fairly new. Normally we do subdivisions and don't address the rental percentage. So this is a fairly new thing we've done.
So they legally, they can rent it out
Up to 30%.
up to 30%.
Up to 30%.
And as a side note, we cannot restrict that in just a normal subdivision that does not have an HOA, correct?
Correct.
State law prohibits that.
Right.
And ultimately, it's up to the HOA to enforce. We can't enforce it.
That's
So-
correct.
So if they decide not to enforce it, we don't really have any teeth.
Right.
Okay.
How did we arrive at that 30% ratio?
So, and I'm not an expert in this particular area, but my understanding is that when it comes to HOAs and federal fair housing, that like 30% is the highest number you can, or excuse me, you can't say we're going to limit it to say 40 or 50%. That would run afoul of federal fair housing standards if an HOA were to go higher than that.
They could go lower though.
And I'm make sure I'm thinking about this correctly. Yeah, you can't say, I misspoke. So you could allow a higher percentage, but not a lower percentage. So I got that mixed up. Sorry about that.
That gonna be a sticking point for me. To be honest with you, I'm wrestling for this things back and forth multiple times. I'm in a renting business. I have some properties renting for right now, and I have good tenants. Most of them is over 5 years, very good tenants. But we're talking about the owner occupy and renting the place. It's always the owner occupies a bit better than renting out. The reason is because the owner occupy, they very pride to be the owner to make the house look nice inside and outside. I'm concerned a bit about this because it's one 39 laws and you got 30% legally you can do that. And that's my sticking point.
And my concern is still the frontage on 6,000. And then the community's concerned with density. So I'm going to ask if there's any support from the council to continue this to a date uncertain until we can maybe have things worked on a little bit by the developer. Frontage on the homes on 6,000 and maybe the density on the interior lots also looked at, so.
So maybe no renting.
I don't know if we can, we can't put no renting at all, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So 30% is as restrictive as we can get, so.
Yeah, we're thinking about, we try to reduce the number of renters in our city.
We already have no basement entrances and.
That's right. Yeah, that's already in there.
Yeah, Councilman Harmon, I'm in full agreement with you, and I would have suggested something similar. And I hate to seem like I've been moving the target along as well, because the frontage on 6,000 was my primary concern. But since our last meeting, I've had as we all have, a lot of contact with residents as well. And I'm more concerned now about the overall density and not just along 6,000. So, but I don't just want to deny something without the chance to discuss further.
Okay, and procedurally, how many times can we continue it?
So we're continuing it to no, it's 3 times, but if it's to no date certain, we'll just table it until a proposal comes that we can bring back to the council.
Okay.
And it'll also be renoticed at that time as well
Okay.
to the residents.
So do we need Mr. Pastrick anymore? Any more questions for him? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, to the council.
I have a concern, we do want this property redeveloped. What's there now is not acceptable and
Right.
and it would be great to have that changed. But it's more expensive to redevelop property. And we have a problem with not having affordable housing as well. And so the bigger we insist the property, the more expensive it's going to be for the future homeowners. So I'm hesitant to push too far, that it won't get redeveloped, or there'll be more homes that people can't afford.
And just to add a comment, there have been folks here speaking against it. I've also had conversations and emails of folks that live near it or around this parcel of land, and they agree. They say they're excited to see something happen there. They're not completely happy with the density, but the property needs to be helped. If it's this or nothing, then maybe this is something that they can live with. I think I mentioned in study meeting that, my parents lived there a long, long time ago, and they were excited to see something good happen with this property. And I don't know that it's, these are single family homes. It's not like we're talking about townhomes or apartments. So.
My wife actually texted me and reminded me that one of the homes we lived in California, one that's most memorable in our memories, had a 5-foot garage side setback and a 10-foot on the other side. And then the backyards were contiguous because we were in an HOA. And we had 6 kids in that, and we had plenty of room in the backyard because they could go a little further than just the fences. So, the size of the yard was not a limit to what we could do. That was honestly the only rental that our realtor could find in the whole city for us to pick up. And so it was one of the better homes we lived in.
No, I respect everything that everyone's saying, and I don't know that we would get the 8,000 square foot, without a PUD and all of that. I'm not saying that. I think I'm pretty close, but what's on the table tonight, I probably wouldn't support without at least taking it back and taking one more look. But I think I'm fairly close. If it wasn't for the adjacent zoning completely surrounding this particular area, I would love for it to match, right, as closely as we could. If it was something where we had some apartments adjacent or nearby, or duplexes or something different, I think I wouldn't be such a stickler on at least trying to get close to matching the surrounding area, but I'm pretty close.
Could support that, a continuation, and maybe take another swing at it.
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion to continue this until, what is it, an undetermined
Date
date.
uncertain.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
No.
Councilman Nordfelt,
No.
Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion passes by majority for continuance to no date certain.
Okay, thank you. All right, we do not have a need for a closed session tonight, so we have one more motion.
Mayor, we do have 2 other action items on this one.
Oh, on this actual, yes. I just figured if we continue one, we might as well continue them all. All right, so we're going to take that as ordinance 24-42. And then we have ordinance 24-43, which is the zone change for the property.
Can we motion to continue both of those to date uncertain?
Second.
Two at once is fine? Okay, thank you. We had to wait for the attorney to say yes. Okay,
Just for the record purposes, ordinance 24-43 and resolution 24-145.
Yep.
Perfect.
which is the zone change and the development agreement. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone.
Yes.
Councilman Harmon.
Yes.
Councilman Hune.
Yes.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt.
Yes.
And Mayor Ling.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously. Sorry.
thank you. All right, we do not have a need for a closed session, so we have one more action item.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye,
Aye.
and we stand adjourned. So our next meeting will be November 26th, if you'd like to join us again.